Tell me about your ambitions in tennis.
What do you mean?
After winning the Wuhan Open Finals, Coco Gauff left the court with more than just a trophy. According to reports, she took home a $25 million prize package. It's not a typo. $25 million for winning just one tournament. Additionally, another Grand Slam champion was reportedly furious behind the scenes while she and her staff celebrated golf. According to reports, Aryna Sabalenka, one of the most formidable players on tour at the moment, was incensed by the salary gap. This has nothing to do with rivalry. This relates to something far more significant that is currently taking place in professional tennis. Let's begin with the real events that took place in Wuhan. Gauff's triumph in the championship game was outstanding. Without a doubt, she performed with the kind of poise that we have grown accustomed to.
I think I just enjoyed the fact that, everything is on your racket, your terms. My first tournament that I won, I was 8. It was Little Mo in New York City. It was the first time that we felt like I could do something far in this sport.
However, the truth came to light when information about her settlement arrangement surfaced. Gauff reportedly made a stunning $25 million from the tournament, including prize money, appearance fees, and performance bonuses, according to reports from several tennis media agencies. To put that in perspective, that is more than Martina Navratilova earned in her playing career and more than Pete Sampras won in prize money during the course of his 14-year career. Even 15 years ago, the numbers in contemporary tennis would have been unthinkable.
I remember she was about 5 or 6 years old and we were watching Australian Open. Serena wins. I remember saying, man, she's going to be the GOAT. And she said, what is the GOAT? I said, that's the greatest of all time. She's like, I want to be a GOAT. So I ran out and bought a racket. That's kind of how it all started.
In the last 2 years, Sabalenka has now won 2 Grand Slam championships. According to conventional tennis measures, including rankings, wins, and losses, she is rated number 1 in the world. Although she has undoubtedly been the more successful player lately, there is a noticeable disparity in endorsements, appearance fees, and these enormous prize packages. According to people close to the Belarusian player, she is no longer keeping quiet about it. Shortly after the Wuhan Finals, Sabalenka made remarks at a news conference that many took to be critical. She stated, "Sometimes in tennis, it feels like the focus goes to certain players regardless of who's actually winning the tournaments." Although she didn't specifically name Gauff, everyone in the room understood who she was referring to.
I grew up with the philosophy that sport can help you become a better person. And I want to be remembered as somebody who used their tennis to impact other people. I'll take that. These are the courts I grew up playing on. When I was a kid, my dad and I, we were looking for us or whatever, you knew we'd probably be out here on this first court.
One of the most profitable competitions outside of the Grand Slams is now the Wuhan Open. The tournament has been heavily funded by Chinese sponsors who are particularly interested in luring elite athletes who can garner global recognition. Gauff is a fantastic fit for their profile. She has already won the US Open at the age of 21. Millions of people follow her on social media. She has endorsement contracts with Barilla, Nike, New Balance, and now Rolex. From Vogue to Time, her visage can be found on magazine covers. She is what tournament organizers refer to as a needle mover, someone whose mere presence may increase ticket sales and TV viewership. This is where things become complex, though. Tennis has long taken great pleasure in its meritocracy. You get paid when you succeed. The rating system is meant to be impartial. Men and women receive equal prize money at the Grand Slams. However, the playing field isn't evenly distributed when you include overall revenue, which includes appearance fees and endorsements. For simply attending a competition, certain athletes can charge appearance fees in the millions. Others with comparable talent receive far less. In private, tournament administrators will inform you that they have budgets set out for appearance fees, which they use to pay players who sell tickets. It's commercial. However, it feels like something completely different for players like Sabalenka, who believe they are working hard and achieving their goals without receiving the same cash compensation. Based on what tennis journalists have been able to put together, let's discuss the precise breakdown of that $25 million.
It's remarkable. She's the youngest qualifier in history, and now she's about to compete against her idol, Venus Williams.
It felt like a storybook.
Her game is so calm and so focused.
I just remember not looking at the scoreboard the entire match because I didn't want to see her name. The hardest points of the match were the match points. It felt like I was holding my breath. I don't want to be known as the girl who got close.
It's amazing. She is going to battle against her idol, Venus Williams, as the youngest qualifier in history. It was like reading a storybook. She plays with such composure and concentration. I simply don't recall glancing at the scoreboard during the entire game because I didn't want to see her name. The match points were the most difficult parts of the game. I had the impression that I was holding my breath. I don't want to be recognized as the girl who became intimate.
I was 10 in this picture. It was a big deal because to tell somebody you're a national champion, they think you're legit. When I kind of made my name in the sport at Wimbledon 2019, this is one of the dresses that I wore throughout.
About $3 million was the official prize money for winning the Wuhan Open Finals. The public number is that. However, Gauff apparently paid an appearance fee of almost $5 million to compete in the competition. She was compensated by the event for simply showing up to play. Additionally, her contracts with sponsors include performance bonuses, wear their logos, and win a major tournament. Additionally, each of those bonuses may amount to 7 digits. The $25 million total comes from the prize money, appearance fee, sponsor bonuses, and the increased value of her current endorsement contracts as a result of the victory. Sources claim that Sabalenka made about $6 million in total from the same tournament route. Even so, it was less than 25% of what Gauff brought in. The official prize money, where both players received comparable sums for their individual finishes, does not differ. Everything surrounding tennis is different. According to reports, Sabalenka charges far less for appearances. Even if her endorsement portfolio is strong, it doesn't include the huge partnerships that Gauff has landed. And that's the source of the annoyance. This may sound like a whole different sport to fans who are familiar with tennis from the 1970s, 1980s, or 1990s. Chris ever received £10,000 when she won Wimbledon in 1974. That comes to about $15,000. Even after accounting for inflation, we are discussing less than $100,000 in modern currency. Over the course of her career, Martina Navratilova, one of the greatest tennis winners in history, won over $21 million in prizes. Steffi Graf earned just less than $22 million. Gal's reward from a single event in 2024 would be greater than the career earnings of these superstars. In the early 2000s, the money started to get serious. The first female tennis player to earn more than $90 million in career prize money was Serena Williams. However, it took years for Serena to land her biggest sponsorship deals. Although she won her maiden Grand Slam in 1999, it wasn't until a few years later that she signed her first significant multi-million-dollar sponsorship deal. Gal, on the other hand, had significant deals before to her maiden Grand Slam victory. Before she became a champion, she was a marketing phenomenon. The new model is that Sabalenka stands for an alternative route. She was born in Belarus, a nation with a lower media profile than the US. When she initially joined the tour, she didn't speak English well. Power tennis and grit helped her establish her reputation. She won matches by playing aggressively and competitively. Serious tennis enthusiasts who value her game greatly admire her. However, unlike Gal, she hasn't become a mainstream celebrity. And the real money in contemporary tennis is found in that crossing. In the days following Wuhan, the frustration erupted. Debates abounded on social media and tennis forums. Some supporters contended that Gauff is deserving of every penny since she increases awareness of the sport. Others claimed that it is inherently unfair for the court case to have less marketability than it does. A few past athletes offered their opinions. Tracy Austin, a two-time U.S. Open champion, said on social media that tennis ought to be rewarded. Thousands of people liked that comment, which furthered the conversation regarding the future of the sport. This situation also has a larger background that is important. For many years, women's tennis has fought for equal recognition and compensation. In 1973, Billie Jean King reportedly threatened to boycott the U.S. Open if women weren't given the same prize money as men. Years passed before that battle was finally won. It wasn't until 2007 that Wimbledon offered equal prize money. Therefore, discussions on pay inequality increasingly touch on delicate histories, especially when they involve female athletes. Gall's enormous income is viewed by some as a success for women's athletics. Others interpret it as proof that the system is still unfair, but in a different way. Although most of them are cautious about what they say in public, Sabalenka has admirers among the players as well. Tennis players must compete against one another every week because it's a small world. However, reporters covering the tour claim that there is undoubtedly friction in private conversations. Some athletes believe that the distribution of appearance fees and endorsement money is unjust. They witness athletes receiving enormous agreements prior to winning significant titles, while established champs are disregarded. They believe that social media followings are more valuable than Grand Slam awards. They also question if the sport is moving in the proper direction. Gall hasn't openly addressed any criticism for her part. In interviews, she has been tactful, stating that she is appreciative of the chances she has been given and that her goal is to keep getting better. According to reports, her team is aware of the criticism but views it primarily as noise. They emphasize that Gauff has kept all of her promises, worked relentlessly to promote the sport, and used her position to further causes that are important to her. She is creating something rather than only collecting checks. However, the Wuhan issue has sparked a discussion that tennis may need to address. Should some players receive large appearance fees from events while others do not? Should selling tickets be just as important as winning games? Is this how professional sports have developed naturally in the era of social media? Or is there a loss of anything essential? There are no simple solutions. Tournament directors will tell you that their financial survival depends on celebrity power. Sponsors will claim to have invested in athletes who resonate with customers. Because they add value to the sport, players want to be paid. That's all reasonable. However, there seems to be an imbalance when the difference between the best paid player and other elite rivals reaches this extent. Tennis used to be easier for elderly fans. You played